What is division and divorce community property? What is division and divorce community property? Generally divided equally between the divorcing couple, while each spouse retains their own separate. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Best Law Blog. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, at Best Law Blog. What is division and divorce community property? During the divorce, neighborhood property is typically divided equally between the spouses, whilst every partner maintains his or her separate property. The biggest problems and deprivations the couple pursue are divorce and the division of assets. This is a very emotional procedure that could lead to more conflicts. Among the many aspects that can be divorced with regularity is that of state governments, the property, and assets of the division. In Arizona, the law that regulates the nature of property is Title 25 Marital and Domestic Relations, Chapter 318, Nature of Property, Retroactivity, Loans to Process, Loans of Assignment. The biggest problems and deprivations the couple pursue are divorce and the division of assets. This is a very emotional procedure that could lead to more conflicts. Among the many aspects that can be divorced with regularity is that of state governments, the property, and assets of the division. In Arizona, the law that regulates the nature of property is Title 25 Marital and Domestic Relations, Chapter 318, Nature of Property, Retroactivity, Loans to Process, Loans of Assignment, Contempt of Court. This law makes that in a divorce or legal separation proceedings, the court can assign each spouse to a single property for one spouse. The court docket can also distribute any joint assets, which is why Arizona is called a community property state. Community property can also include all property, and loans can be used to obtain the cutoff date from the start of the marriage. The property being used by either spouse outside of Arizona is still counted as community property. So as this property is legally viewed, community property is acquired first in Arizona. A formal property and debt agreement between spouses is called a marital settlement agreement or property award order of the Arizona Superior Court. The property is divided with respect to any marital misconduct. Debt is not something that many people consider when they think about the division of marital property. The court can think about all the debts and actions related to the property in the decision for their rest. Debt taxes are included, collected or collected, that is any property of a staged sale. There are certain exemptions to ensure that the properties are included in Title 33 Property, Chapter 8, Territorial and Personal Property Exemptions. Note that the binding on the debt of the division is related to the courts made by the election, the spouse, and no longer the debt. Because the debt is being made between people and the debt, i.e. banks, deposit card companies, medical companies, retailers, etc., can choose the court. It is no longer necessary to fulfill the accountability for the spouse of the substance. Obligations to debt. If a spouse requests that the court can make an effort against an executor of the property for a different spouse in an effort to pay the amount owed by the court orders the partner to pay, this can be accomplished by securing certain types of debt including interest or equity that a partner has in the property. Community debt needs to be paid with the help of spouses from the court. Child support. Spousal rehabilitation. Title 25, Chapter 318 Arizona's marital and domestic relations allow, in addition, the court to consider the damages and a spouse of the sentence of the thief as a result of this decision. It refers to the situations in which the sufferer had a different spouse or child, extraordinary expenses, destruction, concealment or fraud of a nature held in common tenancy or other common property of the community. The ownership of any property jointly, which will no longer be held in the provisions included in the agreement, is joint ownership. This means that each spouse will retain half of the ownership or interest in the property. In addition, the final order or decision will specify, in a criminal case, the provisions affected by the property, including the capacity and the property of Puroviapi operation. The division of property of complexity is not decided by the motives for which the divorce is being filed, whether contested or narcissistic divorce. This determination is usually made on a 50-50 basis unless there are exceptional circumstances. Concerned about the process and the potential for conflict, many spouses choose to reach a non-public settlement aid with a divorce attorney. This video disclaimer. This video tutorial has been making for information and interest purposes only. The information contained within this video tutorial is the opinion of the author only, and should not be construed as legal advice or used to make legal decisions. Consult the best legal professional in your area if you are seeking legal advice.